So now we move on to the Mayor's report, and I'm just tidying up one of the recommendations. That this is the challenge of doing a Mayor's report and putting it down to the wire to get it in on time, and unfortunately it hadn't been tidied up around the name of the Canterbury Earthquakes Royal Commission report, and I just made up a name for it that wasn't right, and the resolution didn't quite accord with the intention that I wanted to address. So I just wonder whether could you just pull those the recommendations down, because I just want to go through the recommendations that go with this. No, that's fine. The recommendations that we'll deal with on top of the report, so I'll deal with the report in a minute, but to note that the Mayor has appointed Lee Sampson to the Port Hills Park Trust Board for the remainder of the term. I'm going to ask that we appoint myself, the Chief Executive, and 4 to 6 councillors as Christchurch City Council attendees to the Local Government New Zealand 2021 Conference and Awards. Appoint the Mayor as the presiding voting delegate and Councillor Cotter as the alternate to attend the LGNZ AGM, which is held at the same time, or maybe not. Continue to make arrangements for the names to be read in a minute silence observed on the 22nd of February, 12:51 each year at the Oimanawa Canterbury Earthquake National Memorial, and continue to plan and deliver civic memorials to mark significant 22nd of February earthquake commemorations in consultation with the Quake Families Trust, including significant milestone anniversaries such as the 20th anniversary, and to mark the next anniversary post the COVID environment when international bereaved families can and wish to visit Christchurch in consultation with those families. So I know that a number of the Japanese families were very keen to join us for the 10th anniversary, and were not able to do so because of COVID. And I think it would be entirely appropriate to actually deliver a significant civic memorial when they are able to come. And this is the one that I've just been working on the wording of. Request staff report to Council on the status of outstanding recommendations of the Canterbury Earthquakes Royal Commission report, noting that the 20th anniversary of the finalisation of that report occurs in November this year, and to recommend any steps the Council could take to address them. So the reason that I'm doing this is that I've obviously been working closely with representatives of the Quake Families Trust, and there are some outstanding issues that haven't been resolved from the recommendations of that report. Not all of them relate to the council's activities, but a number of them do, and some of them relate to central government. The recommendations, I think it's worthwhile that staff actually bring a report to us on the status of outstanding recommendations, and that they come to us with recommendations as to how the council could address them. And that may be alerting central government to them. I know that there are a couple of issues that specifically arise from our experience here, which I have constantly raised at select committee hearings over and over again as I've tried to get people to understand the significance of the difference between the Building Act's requirements around earthquake-prone buildings and dangerous buildings that would be subject to further damage or the risk of coming down in an earthquake. So it doesn't apply to them all, but it applies to a significant number of them. February was quite a challenging time, obviously, to address a number of these events in relation to the COVID rules. The blessing of the new site of sensitive earthquake building materials at Bottle Lake Forest Park, that is going to be the most extraordinary place, and it is going to be open later this year, and it is, I think that councillors are going to really appreciate, as will the people of Christchurch, the extraordinary effort that has been gone to really represent an environment that creates a place of solace and solace and peace for those. It's a living memory, really, for those that died. I just do want to touch on the Adelaide Sister Cities 50th anniversary virtual event. We actually had to do this online, but you'll see on the left-hand side the image of the incredible carving that will be gifted to Adelaide at an appropriate occasion to recognise this very special anniversary, and the Gorna shield that sits on the right-hand side, which was gifted to Christchurch and which is here. I don't know that we've found a place to locate it yet, but we will put it in a place of honour. And I had the absolute privilege of welcoming the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup captains to Christchurch. It's going to be incredible that we not only host a semi-final, but that we'll be hosting the final. It is really looking forward to a fantastic series of games. I've just got the standard stuff that I've got. So, and finally, I've just added the series of resolutions that arose from people expressing great concern around the council table about the events with Russia invading Ukraine and the impact on our Ukrainian community here in Christchurch, and a desire to express our solidarity with them and to join the government in its condemnation of Russia for this. The other thing that is listed in here is an acknowledgement that this is directed to the government of Russia, not to the people of Russia. And there are people in Russia who are not being shown what Russian community members can see here without the closing off of access to truthful information about the invasion in Russia itself. So I'm happy to move those, but I'll open it up for any questions that people have. But I will need the screen up because I can't see. Right. Does anyone have any questions? If not, right, do I have a seconder for the series of motions there? I've got a spoilt for choice now. I'll take Melanie Coker because she was in the building earlier on. Yanni, did you have a question, or do you want to open up the debate?
Yes, sorry, I did have a question. Have those resolutions been circulated to us, just around the bottom ones?
Sorry, I thought that they had been. Sorry, and that's my fault. We added to the ones that you already had received before to pick up on some of your recommendations, Yanni.
I appreciate that. I just can't see them. The question I had was around the Mayors for Peace.
I'm just going to get it put back up.
Okay.
So you've got note that in late February, Russia invaded Ukraine in an unjustified and flagrant breach of international law, etc. Note that New Zealand's strong condemnation is of the Russian government and not the Russian people. Note Christchurch's history and connection to the peace movement were instrumental in the city becoming New Zealand's first peace city 20 years ago in 2002. So it's a significant anniversary. And earlier, a member of the member city of the Mayors for Peace Network in 1988 acknowledged the impact the war is having on our Ukrainian community in Christchurch and express our solidarity with them. joins the New Zealand government in condemning Russia's actions and advocating for peace, writes to the Mayors for Peace network outlining the council's position, and requests council staff to report back as soon as possible on what practical things can be done to provide humanitarian assistance to the Ukrainian people in Christchurch and in the Ukraine.
Cool. So the only question, and thank you for that, just the Mayors for Peace, I just wondered, because there are very specific cities that are in Ukraine, and so I just wondered whether, there could be a focused letter to the cities in both Ukraine and in Russia. I don't know how that network operates.
Look, Yanni, I'd rather. I think there is a war going on at the moment, and I understand what you're trying to say. I would rather that we simply wrote a letter to the Mayors for Peace network, which they can put through their networks, targeting city mayors in Russia at this time is very challenging, as it would be in Ukraine. So I just would ask for your forbearance in that regard. I think the best way for us to make a communication of this nature would be through the network.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Thank you. Yep. All right. Are there any other questions, discussion? I'll put the motion. Oh, so I got a seconder. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, put up your hand. And those opposed. Thank you. Right. So that's moved on to the. How are we going? 12:11. We're going well.